Welcome to Flaunt, Build Your Dreams and Live Your Sparkle. I'm Lora Cheadle, and today we are going to talk about women. We are going to talk about all the wonderful things that we do as women, but we're also going to take a deep dive into all of the things that we do as women that are maybe not quite so wonderful. And what I mean by that, because after all, we are pretty great, we are going to talk about our tendency to do a couple of things. First, to judge ourselves pretty darn harshly. We're going to talk about that self-judgment piece. We're going to talk about how we do it, when we do it, why we do it, and the impact on ourselves, as well as on our families, our friends, and our careers when we do that. And we are also going to talk about, get ready, this is a big one, self-sacrifice and our tendency to sacrifice ourselves and our well-being in our wonderful, heartfelt desire to take care of everybody else, whether that everybody else is our kids, our partner, our friends, our family, or our career. Women are notorious at doing everything possible to take care of everybody else and not tuning into the signals that their own bodies, their own hearts are giving them to slow down, take a break, and back off a little bit. And the problem is when we don't listen to the signals that our body is giving us, when we don't take that time to refresh and rejuvenate, what happens is we burn out. And yes, we hear a lot about burnout in regards to career, but we also burn out on our lives. We burn out on our relationships. We burn out on motherhood. We burn out on all of these aspects of our lives that are really, really important aspects. And if we want to move forward, truly being able to take care of everything that is important to us to take care of, then we need to address this. And the time to address it is now, while we are still somewhat functional, as opposed to later when we've completely gone off the deep end and are suffering from depression or adrenal fatigue, or we're just so grouchy that we have to leave work, or we're so dissatisfied. I mean, you can address it then if you want to, but I don't know about you. I'd rather address it now so my life can still be functional and I can stay in that happy, rosy state as long as possible. Okay, so that is the broad, overarching theme of today's show. Women and our tendency to self-sacrifice and to judge ourselves, and how those two things create problems professionally and personally. Got it? Okay, let's start with the big number one. Successful women. We are successful women. We are power women. We have been hustling in our careers. We have been working hard. We've been proving ourselves. Yes, I know a lot of progress has been made. I know that women are CEOs. I know that women are executives. I know all of that. It's gotten better. But here's what I want you to think about. As a successful, powerful woman, how hard are you working? And how hard are you working in your authentic self? Now, that is a loaded question. I'll give you that. Because there are many of us who are working hard in our authentic power and who are completely congruent with who we are inside and how we show up in the world in our career. But there are also many of us who put on a slightly different face when we go to work. There are plenty of us who masculinize our dress, our behavior, who act just a little bit different at work. Now, I understand professional decorum. I'm not saying at all that you should show up to work in your pink fuzzy slippers and sweatpants because that's the real you. But what I'm talking about is working authentically to you, working authentically in your own power and being exactly who you are authentically. Like I said, that's loaded. You might have to think about that a little bit more. But the next time you go to work, the next time you look down at your phone, got my little phone here, and you see it's a work call versus a personal call, take note of how differently you are answering that phone. Are you picking it up and saying, Lora Cheadle, how may I help you? With a slightly lower tone to your voice or a more abrupt tone, if it's a work call, versus a personal call. And no, I'm not talking about ushy-gushy with your kids or your spouse, but does your voice pick it up a little bit? Hi, how are you? Who is the authentic you? Are you authentic with your friends and family? Are you authentic at work? Can you marry those two parts of your personality? And if so, how? Because when we disconnect from self, it makes everything we do a little bit more exhausting because it's a mask, it's a cover. It's not exactly who we are. Now, I want you to think about the longevity in your career, the satisfaction that you get from your career. A lot of that satisfaction is up here. It's mental satisfaction. You are hustling, you are working, you are analyzing, you are problem solving, you're doing all of that stuff. Chances are you are being more competitive, less collaborative. Chances are you are being a little bit more analytical as opposed to intuitive. And chances are you are a little bit more fact-centered than feeling-centered, which are all great things. We need to be all of those things. But all of those things that I just mentioned tend to be the more masculine emotions than the more feminine emotions. And I'd like to backtrack for a moment here. All women do not hold the feminine in the same way. Just because we have a feminine body doesn't mean that we have feminine emotions and feminine ways of thinking. I'm just using the masculine and feminine to kind of broadly describe. It's not that men can't be feminine and that women can't be masculine. There are plenty of analytical women out there. I'm not saying that just because you are a female, you can't be analytical. I'm using that in terms of the more masculine emotions versus the more feminine emotions. And the more masculine emotions tend to be things like anger, and the more feminine emotion tends to be things like tears. And anger in the workplace is much more acceptable than tears in the workplace. Yes, women can be competitive, but competition is seen as a more masculine emotion, and collaboration is seen as more of a feminine emotion. Same thing for several of the things that I described. If you are more fact and figure-oriented, those tend to be masculine type of emotions, where the intuitive stuff tends to be the more feminine type of emotion. And all people embody both the masculine and the feminine in different balances and in different parts of our life. And that's all normal and good and wonderful and perfect. But how are you letting all parts of your being out to play in all of these different facets of your life? If you are a professional teacher, Elementary, college, it doesn't matter. The teaching profession is a more feminine profession because it deals with the connection in the human and the relationship. Men can teach and they can teach in the feminine. Women can teach and they can teach in the feminine. But is there alignment? Is there congruency between you and your nature and the work that you are doing? And if there's not, it leads to burnout. It leads to frustration. It leads to exhaustion. Because every day when you show up to work, you put on that mask, you put on that cover, and you are not completely yourself. Let me tell you a little story about me and what I mean by this. I am obviously a female, but emotionally, I am also very feminine. I have a lot of those feminine type qualities. I'm also perky and bouncy. I'm also smiley. When I was in law school, I was involved in the student law office. And for those of you who don't know what the student law office is, it is a program where students who are in law school represent low-income clients under the guidance of a fully licensed attorney who's a faculty member. And it's a brilliant program because the students get all of that experience and, hey, here comes my kitty. And the clients get competent counsel and the students get to learn how to do things and how the court system really works and how to, work with a client. And the clients actually get a double benefit because they get the students as well as the advisors working on their case. So it's definitely a win-win situation for everybody. So anyway, my first case was an automobile repossession. Now, that's not a difficult thing. Automobile repossessions happen every day. But for me, as a student attorney, it was kind of a huge deal because it's the first time I was going to go to court. It's the first time I was going to really interact with clients. I was going to interact with the judge. I was going to have to put together all of that stuff and really prove myself. So being an overachiever, being a perfectionist, having that type A component to my personality, which tends to be seen as the masculine energy, I spent a lot of time researching. I met with the clients. I went through their case file, and I kid you not, I researched until the cows came home. And guess what? I found a case that exactly fit my fact pattern. And this case held that if certain notice requirements were not met, then the car could not be repossessed. Now, I was elated. I was so beyond elated because I was going to win my case. I was going to take what I thought was a super simple repossession. I was going to win. My clients didn't pay for their car. They should have lost the car, but because of this research, because of all of this overachieving type A stuff that I had done, I found a reason why they should keep the car and we were going to win. So I call my advisor. I have her confirm, sure enough, this is exactly what's happening. I'm right. This is amazing. She tells me to write a memo explaining my research to the court, explaining my research to opposing counsel, and to bring it the next morning. Because of course, I found this case the night before we were set to go to court. So I write my memo. I show up in court the next day, hand my little memo to the judge, hand my memo to opposing counsel. I'm still scared to death, wondering if I've done something wrong, wondering what's, what do I need to know? Where am I going to be blindsided? Bam! The judge reads it. He bangs his gavel. He says, case dismissed. Your clients keep the car. Well, as you can imagine, I am elated. I'm a law student, and I just won my very first case ever. mean, that's kind of amazing, isn't it? So I am expecting accolades from the judge. My clients are hooping and hollering. I am expecting, oh my gosh, you are going to be the next star litigator. Good job. I'm expecting all this wonderful stuff. But no. That's not what happens. What happens is the judge takes the gavel. He points it at me. And with this look of utter disgust, says, I want to see you in my chambers now. And he walks away. It literally almost brought me to tears. I had no idea why he hated me so much. I had no idea what I had done wrong. I was completely confused because in my heart, in my head, I had just done a really good thing. I had won my first and only case. I looked at my advisor. She looked just as confused as I did, and she just said, come on. And we went to his chambers, where he proceeded to berate me for having the nerve to win my case, for having the nerve to show up opposing counsel, who is a super well-respected attorney, who did repossessions all the time, who completely knew his stuff. He wanted to know if I had been hiding this research. He wanted to know what I thought I was proving by doing this. He wanted to know why I was so smiley and happy and friendly with my clients. He wanted to know why I hadn't stood up faster when he came in the courtroom. He wanted to know why I was wearing a skirt and not pants. He wanted to know why my hair wasn't pulled up, why it was left down, even though the sides were. I mean, he went on and on, berating me up one side and down the other for all of these things that I had done wrong. And you know what? I hadn't done anything wrong. Had I smiled with my clients? You bet I did, because I was 21 years old and I had just won a case and it was amazing. And I'm a happy, smiley person. That's me. And the thing is, that was my strength. My strength was my ability to connect on that human heart level with my clients. That's what would have made me a good litigator, in addition to my brain power, in addition to many other things. But what he did is he took all of my, let's call them feminine qualities, and again, men can embody feminine qualities too, but he took my exuberance, he took my personality, he took my smile, he took my clothing, my hair, he took all of that. And he basically said, you cannot be that if you hope to succeed. And I believed him. And I never, ever wanted to set foot in a courtroom again. I felt nauseated. I felt ashamed. I felt embarrassed. I was mortified. You name it. Every horrific emotion I felt. So you know what I did? I covered. I started wearing masks. I covered my legs. I covered my body. I was not in an inappropriate outfit. I was in a suit. The skirt hit around my knees. I had my hair pulled up on the sides, but down and back. It was appropriate for my age, for the situation, for the style at the time. Even though I'm a happy, smiley, connecting person, I was appropriate. I was not whooping and hollering and filing my nails and smacking my bubblegum in court. I was appropriately myself, and I got shut down hard for that. So like I said, I covered. I covered my body. I covered my spirit. I covered my feminine qualities so I could succeed in the more masculinized world of law. And you know what? I did fine. I was in-house for an insurance company. I did fine. I put on my pants, I pulled back my hair, I wore conservative jewelry, I lowered my voice, I didn't connect with people as much, and I did fine. But the thing was, it wasn't me. My gifts were left behind. And I was an attorney based on somebody else's model of what an attorney should be. I was not an attorney based on how I, Lora Cheadle, could have and should have served the profession with my gifts. And part of the reason that I only practiced for 10 years was because I couldn't live that way for long. I couldn't live a life where I was covering up my body, my mind, my spirit, my heart, my emotions, all of that. I couldn't maintain it for longer than that. So that's what I mean by being congruent with who you are and how you are showing up in the world. If you are congruent in your profession, you are going to be much more satisfied. You are not going to be experiencing burnout. And you are going to bring much more to your profession because your gifts can come through. Now, this is not only about the workplace. This is about our friends, our family, our homes as well. We want to serve our employers, or if we're entrepreneurial type women, we want to serve ourselves with the work that we do. But we also want to serve our families and our friends and our children. We want to love our partners well. We want to raise kids to the best of our ability. We want to raise our kids to be happy, healthy, functional human beings. We also, got cat hair everywhere on me right now, by the way, just so you know. We also want to serve and love our friends well. We want to be of service to our friends, our sisters, our spouses. And we want that reciprocal type relationship with them where we are nurturing them and they are nurturing us. Now tell me if you can relate. You work all the time. You get exhausted. No matter what you do, it's not good enough. No matter what you do, there's one more thing you coulda, woulda, should have done. You think you're doing great signing up to volunteer in your kids' classrooms, and you get there only to realize that the other moms who came in have homemade snacks and you have your little box of Teddy Grahams or fish crackers. And that voice in your head goes, oh my God, I am so not good enough. I am so not worthy. Why didn't I see that one coming? I can't pull it together. I can't do that. Or somebody comes over to your house and there's stuff everywhere and you're embarrassed and you're ashamed. Why does my house look like this? Why does my car look like this? Or your kids need something. Why can't my kids get it together? Everybody else's kids are touring with a soccer program. Why are mine sitting on the couch playing video games? We have that self-judgment, that comparison that happens all the time at home as well as at work, with our friends, with our families, with our kids. We look at social media and we think, wow, everybody else looks great. I've got dark circles. My roots need touching up. I'm overweight. I can't find the time to work out. How does she find the time to work out? Everybody else's family looks amazing. Everybody else's home looks amazing. Everybody else's career looks amazing. And that little voice inside of our head starts going and going and going. Why can't you pull it together? What's wrong with you? I should work out on my way home. I should make homemade organic zucchini muffins. I should be able to get my kids off the couch. I should have date night. Why is everybody else having date night? Why can't I do date night? All of these shoulds, all of these voices, all of these comparisons start coming up. And it's just like when we cover our true identity, when we dive into that self-judgment, and when we start living from that place of, I'm not good enough, my kids aren't good enough, my relationship's not good enough, my car isn't good enough, my house isn't good enough, my body's not good enough, it brings us down. It is common knowledge. It's a fact. We take care of the things that we love. We are happy with the things that we love. That's just common sense. When we love ourselves and our bodies and our relationships and our kids and the way we do things, we're happier and we take better care of them. Turn that into yourself. Are you happy with your body? You will take better care of your body if you're happy with your body. I promise you. How many of us are caught into the I will be happy when trap? I will be happy when I lose 5 pounds. I will be happy when I get in shape. I will be happy when I can fit into these awesome jeans. I will have a great marriage or a great relationship when the kids are gone. I will really find that passionate love with my husband when I lose 10 pounds. I will whatever, when. Do you fall into that trap? Because a lot of us women do. And the thing is, and you know this up here, you know that in your head, you know it's not valid. You know that wherever you go, there you are. If you lose 10 pounds and your partner loses 10 pounds, you're still not going to be able to connect. If you want connection, it takes the work of connecting. It doesn't take losing 10 pounds. If you want to really enjoy your children and to be this great mom who really enjoys the time and has that quality time with her kids, it truly doesn't matter if you have homemade organic zucchini muffins ready for them or not. It matters that you are sitting on the floor playing with them, and the while you are sitting on the floor playing with them, you are connected and engaged in that play. You are not sitting here on your phone going, I'm late with this proposal. Oh, I have to do that. You're truly present and you're relaxed enough in here in your heart to be relaxed and present with them. Does that make sense? It's that connection that's important. It's not all the judgment around that connection that's important. Now, in my mind, when I'm connecting with my kids, I'm doing it in this gorgeous designer house, and I am looking amazing with my hair and my jewelry, and my kids are looking great, and we're just, back and forth with our little green juice smoothies, and yes, in my head, we're doing that. In reality, I've probably just rolled out of bed. My kids probably have not brushed their teeth. The cat probably vomited on the floor last night, and we're stepping over that, but we're still connecting, because that is that important piece. And when we have that self-judgment going on in our head, we can't let all that external stuff go enough to enjoy what is truly valuable and what we truly need to enjoy. So when we judge ourselves, we make ourselves unhappy in things that we might otherwise be happy with. And when we judge ourselves, we focus more on the external than on the thing that really matters. if you're having an amazing date night with your partner and you're really enjoying it and you're loving it and you're feeling it, that's what matters. It doesn't matter that you're wearing your size 6 skirt. It doesn't matter that you're wearing your new designer shoes. It doesn't matter that you're eating at the really expensive restaurant. It matters that you're enjoying that connection. So we've kind of hit the self-judgment piece. We've kind of hit that connecting with ourselves and not covering who we really are piece. And now I kind of want to move into a third piece that bridges both of those other pieces. And that is falling in love with our own bodies. Now let me explain that, because it doesn't mean what you think it probably means. As successful power women, as type A, as, goal-oriented type of women, we are in our heads a lot. We are learning, we are planning, we are strategizing, we are taking care of our kids' schedule, we are taking care of our spouse's schedule, we're taking care of our work schedules. We are managing a whole heck of a lot. But we're doing that from the neck up. All of that managing, all of that work, all of that planning takes place in our brains. And we're disconnected from our bodies. I told you the story about me getting berated by the judge. I covered my body. I covered my mind. I covered a lot. I judge myself a lot so that I disconnect even more. You have kids, you gain some weight. Things shift around. You age. You are sitting at a desk all day. You're not working out all the time. Things shift around. Things change. And suddenly, you're not feeling your body. Because you are required to be in that office for 10 hours. You are required to be on the phone. You have to wear certain clothes. You're not in touch with what you look like. You're not in touch with what you feel like because you are busy running, doing more, serving more people. You're busy, you're busy, you're driven, you're driven, you're driven. And you're not feeling things like your intuition, nervousness in your gut, a pain in your neck, stress in your head, pains in your wrists, problems with your ankles, your feet, your hips, your back. Because you're focused, you're driven, you're working. And then you're disconnected from your body. How many of us eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner by the clock as opposed to by our hunger level? We should be eating when we're hungry, not when our lunch break is. We should be eating what our bodies are craving. And so many of us are completely tuned out to what that even means. Oh, I'm craving chocolate. I'm craving salt. No, 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 no. What are you really craving? Tune back into your body. Are you hungry? Are you not hungry? Are you thirsty? Are you hungry for this much food or that much food? And do you finish your plate because that's how much food is there? Or do you truly quit eating when you're done being hungry? I mean, that is such a foreign concept to most people. If you were sitting there in front of unlimited food, eat what you want to eat. Don't eat until your plate is clean. Tuning into our body also means our need to move and to breathe and to stretch and to pay attention to the signals that our body is giving us, which also moves into that feminine quality of intuition. and judgment and discernment. I know, without even knowing any of you, I know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you have all had the experience where you look at somebody and you say, I love them. Or you look at somebody and you say, well, I just don't know what it is about them, but not my kind of person. I don't love them. That's our intuition, and that's a gift. Yes, it's valid. No, you don't need reasons to back it up. Just trust it and tune into it. We all have feelings every day, and we are so used to masking, to covering, to denying, from disconnecting from ourselves, that pretty soon we don't know how to hear ourselves and our wisdom anymore. Thoughts like, oh, I need to call Mary today, only to find out that something really big has happened with Mary. Thoughts like, I think I'm going to take this other road home. I don't know why, I just feel like I'm going to take that way home. We have these intuitive hits all the time. And it's only when we listen to them and when we honor them and when we practice reconnecting with our body that we get good enough to hear them and to integrate them into our world. And let's go back to business. Great business sense there. You know who to work with. You know who's going to be the problem customer. You know who's going to be the problem client. Use your intuition in your business. It will serve you well. Use your intuition with your families and your friends. It will serve you well. But don't forget to use it with yourself. It will serve you well. Now, I said today's show is on women, and it is. And it's on kind of those three big problems that we face. One, our disconnection from our bodies. Two, our tendency to self-judge. Blah, 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 I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. And our tendency to self-sacrifice. I can take it. I'll go without sleep, but you'll have your organic zucchini muffins. I will go to this conference and I will work on this proposal all night because I don't want you to think I am running home to be with my kids, and I don't want you to think that I am less of a worker because I am a female. All of these self-sacrificing things. I will clean the house. I've got it. I'm the mom. I will vacuum. I will clean up that cat puke. I will take care of the kids. I will wash your laundry. We self-sacrifice because we want to be seen as strong. Because historically, women have been called the weaker sex. Historically, women have been seen as not as capable in the workplace. So what do? We overcompensate. And we overcompensate massively to the point that we kill ourselves. And then when we're killing ourselves and we have burnout, what do? We leave the profession. We are not successful. We are too foggy because we've stayed up all night taking care of everything for everyone. And then we are functionless the next day at work. We self-sacrifice because we want to be strong and capable, and we end up hurting ourselves. So we self-judge, we self-sacrifice, we disconnect from our bodies, and it leads to us not being integrated into our own lives. It leads to masking, to covering, into an incongruency in who we are versus how we're showing up in the world. Take a few moments because I got kind of passionate there. But you can tell I've been through this. I have covered. Let me tell you, I have covered in the workplace. I have covered my excitement and my passion and my smile and the fact that I like sparkly things and I like long hair and I like pink nails, and I've covered a lot of my sparkly, silly, happy personality because I wanted to prove to people that I was capable. I wanted to prove to them that I was smart. And in the process of doing that, I left a lot of myself behind, and it made me frustrated. It made me bitter. It made me resentful. It made me all of these things that were not good. So when I left work, when I quit being an attorney, I stayed home with my kids and I had my hobby job. I taught fitness. I became a certified hypnotherapist. I started life coaching. I started working with other moms. And you know what? It was great because I could take care of my kids and I could be June Cleaver and I could be this amazing spouse and support my husband while he traveled. And I could. And guess what? I ended up self-sacrificing and killing myself because I can hold it for everybody. My husband could travel at will for work, for his professional associations. He could golf or fish or whatever because I've got it. I'm at home. I can be here for you. I can be here for us. And you know what? That did not make for a healthy relationship. That made for a lot of resentment. Great. You go out and do all of your stuff and I'll stay here and hold it. That's resentment. That's not taking care of me. You've been working all week, honey. You go golf on the weekends. Wait a minute. I was at home. I was working all week too. But I was much less inclined to say, you know what? I am going out with the girls. I will see you tomorrow. It's that self-sacrifice. Same thing with the kids. And the kids are older now, but when they were younger, I will do this. I will volunteer. I will help. I will run scouts. I will take you to piano. I will. And I was holding everything for them. I was holding everything for my husband. Because I was at home and I had friends who were working, I held things for a lot of the other working women too. Now, I love kids. I truly love kids. And I'm passionate about being a mom. And I'm happy to take care of other people's kids and to support. But it got to the point where, really, the carpool is all on me. I'm taking care of all of your kids. Great. I'm happy to do that. But there were also times where I was not happy to do that. There were times where that was too much. And then same thing, since I'm working a hobby job and I'm training people and I'm just working part-time, I made my part-time status less than. I self-sacrificed. It's not that I had an equally valid career, but one that was part-time and working around my schedule. It became that I had a less valuable career, and it became that I was less valuable, and I would sacrifice myself and my clients and my timing to take care of everybody else, because that's what a good woman does, right? A good woman does it all without complaint. A good woman does it all for everybody, for every reason. What are you doing that is self-sacrificial? I think about my friends who are moms, my friends who are complete power women. All of us have a similar tendency to self-sacrifice. We will consider a spa day a luxury. We will treat ourselves to nails every 2 to 3 weeks. And that's what, an hour? We consider it huge that we are taking an hour away to get our nails done. We consider it this huge deal that we are taking an hour to go get a massage. A half-day spa day? Whoa, maybe for Mother's Day. We don't honor ourselves and our needs. Is your body telling you you need a massage? Is it telling you you need to walk? Are you needing to dance? Are you needing to rub lotion on yourself and do one of those, facial masks from the drugstore, and to put deep conditioner in your hair and to lay there and to read a couple chapters in your favorite book? Are you willing to do things every day that make you feel good? Because you should, because it helps promote longevity. Not longevity in terms of years, although it probably does that too, but it helps make us the service people that we want to be. I am firmly convinced that all women want to serve others, whether it's our kids, our animals. Like I said, my kitty cat is on my lap right now. I dearly want to serve my cat. I dearly want to serve my dogs. I dearly want to take care of my kids and my friends and my clients. Oh my gosh, I am thrilled when my clients need me. I want to make my husband so happy. I want to hold space at home so he can go out and fulfill his dream of leading others in this career world. I want to do that for everybody. But I can't do that when I'm on empty. I can't do that while I'm self-sacrificing and killing myself. I can't do that when those voices are in my head. Lora, you're not good enough. Lora, you need to lose weight. Lora, you need to wear this outfit. Lora, your house needs to look like this. Lora, why can't you do more? Why do you need sleep? Oh my God, pull it together. Blah, 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 blah. Do more, do more, do more. I can't serve others if I am in that self-judgmental, self-sacrificed state of complete and total disconnection with my body. Now, autoimmune diseases literally are at an all-time high. And people don't really exactly know what causes autoimmune diseases, but let me tell you, I do. Our disconnection with our bodies, our self-sacrificing ways, and our self-judgmental thinking patterns create autoimmune diseases. They create and sustain depression. I myself suffered from adrenal fatigue about a year and a half ago. Adrenal fatigue is literally the end of the rope. Your adrenals are saying, I have nothing left to give. And when my body has nothing left to give, I can't serve a client. I can't serve my husband. I can't serve my kids or my cat or my dogs. I can't serve anybody. It's the proverbial oxygen mask story. And if you don't know the oxygen mask story, it's kind of trite and I don't love it, but it explains it well. It's the fact, or it's the story, not the fact, of sitting on the airplane and the airplane has a problem and it's going to go down. And they say if that happens, the oxygen masks will drop. That's the universe. The universe will drop in whatever you need. The oxygen mask will drop. You need your oxygen. And they say, put your own mask on before assisting others who may need your help, which is your kids, your husband, your family, your job. If you have nothing left, you can't give anything. Now, I know how many of us moms out there, if an oxygen mask drops and we're running out of oxygen, how many of us are going to take care of everybody else? Most of us. And that is the exact wrong thing for us to do. I read a great story by Vicki Iovine in one of her girlfriend's guides. And I can't remember which girlfriend's guide it was, but she talked about having this important church event. I can't remember if it was a baptism or if it was just a church event or what. But she got everybody else ready. She got all the kids dressed, their shoes, their hats, their gloves, their tights, their whatever. She got everybody else ready. And as she was running out to the car, she realized, I didn't even get myself dressed or ready. Now, I've never had it that extreme. But I tell you, I have done the exact same thing, whether it's packing for trips, and I get the kids packed and I get the animals taken care of and I get the mail held and I get this done and the house sitter done and blah, 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 and everything is taken care of. Then I'm like, ah! And I have to throw my stuff in the suitcase the last minute and I end up forgetting things because I'm not organized because I didn't take care of me. We have to take care of ourselves first. in order to be of service to anybody else. And we have to be happy and content and satisfied in who we are, or we can't be of service to anybody else. Now, lucky for you, I know how to help you with this because I have been through it, been there, done that in several different regards. But I've also worked with a lot of other women on this same stuff. And it's a process. I really wish I could say, yep, go to the spa one afternoon, bam, you're in. Book your nail appointment every 2 weeks, bam, you're in. But it doesn't work like that. It's a process. It's a shift in the mindset. It's a shift in the heart. It's a shift in the belief system. And it's an understanding of how it feels to be connected to your body. It's an understanding of what is self-judgment and what are those voices, because so many people initially will say, oh, I have great self-talk. I don't judge myself. I'm fine with how I look. I'm fine with everything. But then when we start getting into it, we find there is a lot of self-judgment going on, but it's so routine that we no longer see that it's there. So it's the process of connecting with your body. It's the process of connecting with your thoughts so you can start seeing and catching that self-judgment. And then the third piece is learning how to live without sacrificing yourself. It's learning how to have boundaries, yes, but it's so much more than that. It's learning how to read what's happening. It's learning how to see that it is an oxygen mask dropping down and to see how you need to put it on for yourself before you assist others. It's seeing that interplay. It's training others to not panic and be clawing at your oxygen mask, but to trust you enough to let you go so you can show up to them in your best way that you can serve them. It's a process. And yes, any process, any practice does take time, but I promise you can get it. And I promise once you do, you will be happy. You will be satisfied. You will feel alive in ways that you have never felt alive before. You will be healthier. I can't promise to cure your depression. I can't promise to cure your autoimmune disease. I can't promise to prevent adrenal fatigue, but I kind of do. I kind of do because I understand where these things come from. Those things are pouring out of us. They are our bodies and our hearts and our souls' deepest needs pouring out of us saying, you have not been listening to me. I have to create some significant stuff for you to listen to me. And when you start listening and tuning into the more subtle signs and you let go of that self-judgment, you let go of that self-sacrifice and you reconnect to your body, it all gels. You quit covering who you are. You can finally just relax and be and let your gifts flow through, and it is all good for everyone. And how I do that is through the 5 steps of flaunt. And if you've been listening to my show for a while, you know what those 5 steps are. It's an acronym. F, find your fetish. Find what you love. Feel what you love in your body. Feel it in your mind. Just enjoy it. Find your fetish. The L is laugh out loud. Your fetish might make you laugh. That's great. But it's finding that humor. It's burlesquing your life, because burlesque is a parody, and it's looking at all of the things in your life and finding humor and joy in everything, the mundane, the tragic, whatever it is, find that laughter. AU, big mindset shift. Accept unconditionally. Accept yourself unconditionally, but also accept everybody else unconditionally. And oh boy, is that hard. Oh boy, is that hard. And that is what we work on in the flaunt process a lot. This is my body. This is my home, my situation, the people that I live with. This is my crazy dysfunctional grandmother, aunt, brother-in-law, whoever. How do we accept that unconditionally? Couple that acceptance with accepting ourselves unconditionally and move forward to be the best that we can be. There's a lot of getting out of denial, and that's hard, but you can do it because it's a process. And is navigating the negative. Whether it's professional negativity, personal negativity, negativity from yourself, negativity from others, just getting thrown off, having a flood, having your sprinkler system break, wrecking your car. How do you navigate the negative and still show up with all facets of your personality exposed? You can do it. It's just a process. And the last step of flaunt is T, and that is trusting your truth. And that's that uncovering, that's that revealing. You are you. You have gifts that are valid. Even if your profession tells you your gifts aren't valid, they're valid. Just like me having the judge tell me not to be who I was. That did not serve my profession. I left a profession. I could have been this light in an otherwise kind of dark and grouchy profession. But I was not brave enough. I did not know how to trust my truth and to authentically be who I am and to show up in that profession as I was. Instead, I covered. I made myself sick and resentful and got burned out, and I left. How can you bring all facets of yourself and your personality to everything that you are doing personally, professionally, at home, in the workplace, with friends? How can you do that? You can do that through following and practicing the 5 steps of flaunt. So if you would like to learn more, please reach out, Lora, L-O-R-A, at pyramidfusion.com. You can call or text 303-994-4945. You can find me on Facebook, Lora Plank Cheadle, or Flaunt Flock. You can be a flauntess in my Flaunt Flock. For women who are working this process of flaunting who they are using these 5 steps, you can join my support group and you can learn more about this process of flaunt. You can learn how it can work for you in real life, because you know what? The theoretical is great, but unless we know how to apply it in our real lives, it's not going to change anything. So be a flauntess in my Flaunt Flock and learn how to take these 5 steps so you can take your life from being a little heavy, being a little hard, being a little exhausting, always trying to do more, always leaning in, always pushing harder, always having one more. You can learn how to shed the shoulds, and you can really start getting in to your body, your heart, your joy. You can have fun with your partner, you can have fun with your kids, and you can really make waves in your career. So if you're interested, reach out. I have got a webinar coming, and I've got a retreat in February. So if you think you just kind of sort of might be interested in the webinar or the retreat or both, or working with me individually, reach out. Lora at pyramidfusion.com, 303-994-4945. And thank you for tuning into my show. And as usual, have a fantastic week, and don't forget to flaunt. Bye.